A very sad situation is going on over in Russia with Brittney Griner, and I'm here to tell you that she's currently a prisoner of war. We're going to talk about it right after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr here with the Black Boss channel and Victor Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Brittney Griner, the famous basketball player in the WNBA, but she plays her off seasons in a Russian league, a Russian basketball league. She was trying to board a plane to get out of Russia about 3 weeks ago, right at the start of this Russia-Ukraine stuff, and she was detained because she had what they called cannabis oil in her bag. And so what it sounds like to me, just reading the story, that Brittney Griner had what they call dab pens, and, the little vape pens, and she probably had like the cannabis oil in the little vape pen, and she was taking some cartridges back from Russia back to home to the US in her little dab pens. Nothing, no harm, no foul. They didn't say how many she had. They kept it real discreet, real low key, but they searched her bag and they found these cannabis oil, these dab pens, and they detained her. And they detained her 3 weeks ago. But obviously, with this war stuff, floating around or whatever, they didn't make it public until this week. And so now they've put out her mugshot, and they say she's been detained for at least 3 weeks by Russians customs. Let me read to you. This is coming from the New York Post. We'll read a little bit about it, and then I'm going to tell you why this is a big deal and why Brittney Griner could be facing a long, long time in a Russian prison. It says Russian customs said Saturday that the American basketball star had been taken into custody after it allegedly found cannabis oil cartridges in her luggage. And once again, the dab pens, the vapes, nothing serious. The Customs Service would not say when Griner was arrested, but Russian news sources said she has been in custody for 3 weeks. This is her mugshot that they took after they arrested her. It says, quote, "We are aware of the situation with Brittney Griner in Russia, and we're in close contact with her legal representation in Russia, her family, her teams, and the WNBA and NBA," her agent Lindsay Colas said Saturday. "As this is an ongoing legal matter, we are not able to comment further on the specifics of her case, but can confirm that we work to get her home. Her mental and physical health remain our primary concern." If convicted on drug smuggling charges, this is the thing, Russia don't play fair. Russia is not the same as the US. Russia is different than any place in the entire world. If convicted on drug smuggling charges, Griner could face between 5 and 10 years in a Russian prison. 5 and 10 years in a Russian prison. Now that is what's scary. Okay? So here's the thing about Brittney Griner. She's stuck over in Russia. The Russians are currently being attacked by everybody in the world, specifically America. America is cutting off all finances, all resources going to Russians, whether it's the Russian oligarchs, whether it's the Russian Putin, anybody has anything to do with Russia, their resources are getting cut off. Their services are being taken off, streaming services. America's not playing fair with them when it comes to giving them oil, all these kind of things. That's why they're no longer doing business with anything that's associated with Russia. That's why the gas prices in your state, my state, and every state across this country is going through the roof, because America's like, to hell with Russia. And so what Russia is doing is they're dangling Brittney Griner over the heads of the Americas, over the head of the United States, and say, hey, y'all cutting off all our resources. Y'all saying we can't eat. Y'all are attacking. Y'all are going to war with us economically. Y'all are going to economic war, which in some cases is a lot worse than even physical war. Economic war, where you're cutting off people's resources and don't allow them to eat, and they're going to go crazy without any kind of money flowing in or out. That's a one up for America, one up for the rest of the world to try to get Russia out of Ukraine. But in response, if you are an American and you get in trouble over in Russia right now, you're going to do maximum time. You're going to get the maximum. They are going to use you as a bargaining chip. And so this is the first thing that I thought. Brittney Griner getting arrested in America. Why do you think She was arrested 3 weeks ago. Why did they release it this week? This week was the same week that more sanctions were placed on Russia. More things were being cut off. We're seeing every single day that people in America or companies or organizations or whatever in America are cutting off Russia. And so Russia just says, okay, y'all want to cut us off? Y'all want to take food off our plate? Y'all want to make sure our oligarchs or whoever don't get to eat? Well, we have a basketball star of y'all's. We have a player, someone who has a name in America. She was a national champion in college as far as basketball, the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA, plays basketball, is the biggest human woman ever as far as basketball. We have her detained. She committed a very minor felony, minor thing, but we're going to up it. And we're going to say she's going to do 10 years in prison unless y'all do something about it. That is what we call a prisoner of war. Brittney Griner is currently a POW. The United States cannot negotiate with Russia right now. They can't, because Russia's going to ask for everything in a bag of chips. And so as far as removing some of these sanctions, as far as getting their economy back on track, and they're going to continue to dominate Ukraine the way they want to. And so right now, Brittney Griner is caught in limbo because she is the bargaining chip for Russia. She's a prisoner of war. Now, I was thinking all of this, and then a Yahoo Sports article came out and kind of said the same thing. They used an example of a lady who was in a similar situation, a yoga instructor, kind of got in a similar situation back in 2019. And this was when no war was on the table. No World War III was on the table. I'm going to share for you this article that I read from Yahoo Sports today. It says, in April 2019, a yoga instructor was arrested as she tried to board a connecting flight in Moscow on her way home to Israel. Now, this was in the United States, but this was to Israel. In 2019, Russia authorities said they searched her luggage and found 10 grams of marijuana. That's a whole lot more weed than what Brittney Griner had. She had 10 grams, 10 G's, which is not a lot. And it's just weed, but it is a lot more than cartridges of can of oil, which ain't even a real weed. It's just dab pens. It said, what else in the world might have been a slap on the wrist? Russia resulted in a drug trafficking charge and a 7.5-year prison sentence. She actually got sentenced. Russia then reportedly dangled her as a bargaining chip, offering to make a prisoner swap or to free the 26-year-old Israeli-American in exchange for political favors. This is what Russia is trying to do with the United States. This is what they did back in 2019 with this young lady, this 26-year-old yoga instructor out of Israel. This is what they're now going to try to do with Brittney Griner. Now, we probably won't hear about these things until Brittney gets freed, but unless Joe Biden, the Biden administration, the United States government, the NBA, whoever, unless they come correct, Russia is going to keep Brittney Griner in prison. Unless they come with something that works in their favor, when everything for them is going to hell in a high basket with this World War III stuff, all these sanctions, all this cutting off financially, all the rich people ain't even rich because they're freezing bank accounts, freezing assets. Unless some of that is lifted, Brittney Griner is going to stay in a Russian prison. That is a fact. That is a fact. And we have history to look at. It says this lady's story is a cautionary tale for Brittney Griner, the American basketball star arrested at the same Moscow airport last month under strikingly similar circumstances. Griner's under investigation for a large-scale transportation of drugs and is facing up to 10 years in prison. Now, you got to think, a large transportation of drugs. We talking about dab pens. We talking about little vape pens, you know, the little e-cigarette things. Instead of that just being some hookah or whatever, it's literally a hookah stick that got some THC infused in it. That's all. This ain't a large-scale drug trafficking operation. This lady ain't Big Meech or El Chapo or Pablo's Escobar. This lady had some dab pens, some hookah pens that had a little THC in it. That's it. It ain't a large-scale drug trafficking operation. This is nothing. But she's facing up to 10 years in prison after Russian customs officially allegedly found vape cartridges containing hashish oil in her luggage. Now, while this lady, the Israeli lady, I can't say her name, so I just refuse to say it, served 9 months in prison before the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin, intervened and negotiated her early release. Experts in the U.S.-Russian relations told Yahoo Sports that Griner shouldn't count on such a deal. Her detainment comes during a time of renewed hostility and distrust between the former Cold War adversaries, with Russia at war with Ukraine and the U.S. joining the Western allies in imposing crippling economic sanctions. Crippling economic sanctions. See, that wasn't happening in 2019 between the Israelis and Russia. And that lady still had to serve 9 months in prison, and that lady still got a 7-year prison sentence for 10 G's. For 10 G's a weed. She got that long and still had to do 9 months. Now there's an actual economic war going on. There's World War III on the horizon. There's Putin going after Biden, going after Ukraine, going after all these people. They're dangling Brittney Griner as a political chip. She is a prisoner of war, whether we want to admit it or not. And that is not a place you want to be in with the people like the Russians, with a person like Putin. And that is very, very unfortunate for Brittney Griner, because she is about to serve some time in a Russian jail. And it may be a long time. Think about this. In 2019, that lady with 10 G's of weed did 9 months in prison. Did 9 months. Did 9 months in a Russian prison. And this wasn't during a war, because they said, hey, we'll swap out, but you're going to have to give us something. I'm leaving here with something. Yo people committed a crime in our country. Y'all gonna have to pay up for that. Right? It's like the big bully. It's like the big gangster or whatever. Russia's a big gangster right now. They're in gangster mode, and they're in survival mode, because, like I said, all of their bank accounts for major Russian players have been frozen. All the assets for major Russian players have been frozen. All of these things that these Russian oligarchs, these people who are billionaires, who are hundreds of millionaires, they're not even able to access their money. So they're selling off assets because they don't have anything right now, because all of their stuff is being frozen or crippled or shot to shit because of what's taking place between them, the United States, Ukraine, and the other Western allies, as we just read. And so right now, Brittney Griner is a bargaining chip. And that's not a place you want to be, because the Russians are pissed. Think about it. You're a bargaining chip for a group of people that are mad as hell right now. Nah, they're not going to let you leave. You committed a super minor violation, some damn vape pens, some hookah pens. And they about to throw the book at you for 10 years. And guess what? You're not getting out early until something changes. Until something changes with the United States. It's not a place you want to be in. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button. Once again, my name is JeffLightsJr at the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Whew. Pray for Brittney Griner. Pray that her and her family is able to get through this and weather this storm, because this is a hell of a storm. This is one hell of a storm that she is in currently, and she's going to continue to be in for a while. This is not going away anytime soon. As we just read, that lady did 9 months for 10 grams. And that was without sanctions being placed on Russia. That was without the starting of a world war on the horizon. That was without the invasion of Ukraine. That was without crippling their economy. That was without all of those things that took place in 2019 before COVID, and et cetera, et cetera. And she wasn't Brittney Griner. She wasn't someone who was famous. She wasn't someone with a name. She wasn't someone that was noticeable. She wasn't someone that's going to grab headline attention like this. And she was an Israeli, no disrespect. She was an Israeli American, but she was going to Israel. She wasn't trying to make her way back to the United States during a war or an invasion. Man, prayers up for Brittney Griner, man. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsJr at the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. I'll see you next time. Peace.